Thinking about buying a home but have no idea where your down payment or your closing cost is going to come from? On this video, we're going to be breaking it down as to how to find the money, where the down payment is going to come from, where the closing cost is going to come from if you have nothing saved. And we're going to do that with the current income and the current job that you have right now. If this is the first time to my channel or you're returning back to us to learn more, thank you for supporting us. Hey, I am LeFore here with the Mortgage List team powered by U Mortgage. And on this channel, we discuss everything real estate, mortgage, and real life experience to help you learn from experiences that I'm having with my clients to help you along the home journey. So that way, when you're ready to purchase a home, refinance, or sell and move on to your new next home journey, we are here to help you. Now, if you're looking to build wealth one home at a time, consider subscribing to our channel because we're constantly releasing videos every single week to help educate you and make your home loan process easier and without the headaches. And when you're ready to make that move to your next home, definitely reach out to us. We would love to be able to help you to get to your next home financing with your next home journey. Now, today we're going to be talking about how to find the money for your down payment and your closing costs. And I would love to know your opinion. Make sure you put them in the comments below and let me know what your thoughts are as to whether this is going to work for you or not going to work for you. I will show you how I help first-time home buyers achieve the ability of buying their home right now, not 2 to 3 years from now with the current income that they've got. We're going to get after that and so much more, so keep on watching. So the number one issue that I currently have with my clients is trying to figure out where their down payment is going to come from and also where the closing costs are going to come from. Truly, right now in this market, it is very different than it was 6 months ago. 6 months ago, the idea of even asking a seller or even writing an offer, asking for a penny or not closing your contingencies and closing within 2 days was absolutely ridiculous. Nobody was going to take you seriously and nobody was even going to remotely consider your offer if you weren't giving them your firstborn child and donating some blood at the same time. So right now we are sitting in a little bit different market. So we're not having all seller market or all buyer market, but we are kind of evening out. So right now I'm finding that a lot of my clients are able to get a little bit of help when it comes to the closing costs. With that being said, with your current income that you have right now, we're going to be able to figure out exactly how to put that all together. So the issue that I have with my clients at this moment is that they don't have the down payment. So typically you do have other programs such as down payment assistance, grants, 100% financing, things like that to avoid this. On future videos, we're going to be talking about those 100% financing programs that have no down payment. So definitely be on the lookout for those. But today we're going to be discussing all of where your money is going. Now, the first thing I'm going to have you do is actually pull up your bank statements. So this is something that I tell all of my clients to do. We have been doing loans for almost 20 years. And with that, we've been able to explain to our clients to more educate and find the money. So that's where the bank statements come from. So you can do this along with me, or you can come back to this video later on and then watch it along when you do pull your bank statements. Now, you're going to pull the last 2 months of your bank statements. If you're married and you have separate accounts, guess what? You're going to pull his 2 months and then your 2 months. So that way you have a proper anticipation and a proper view of what you're actually going to be spending, or more like what you have been spending in the past. Now, when you pull up those 2 months of bank statements, make sure they are consecutive. So if we're sitting in August, then you'd be looking at June 1st to June 30th, and you'd be looking at July 1st to July 30th. So that way you can actually see a full 60-day picture. So why do I say a 60-day picture? Because I've had clients where they tell me, oh no, Liz, this is just like an anomaly. This last month of July, there was so many things that were happening. I had to go, spend my money over here, and then my motor broke, and then the washer broke. That's why I say 2 months. You want to be able to break it down when it comes to those 2 months and figure out where your money is going. So now that you have your 2 months of bank statements, you want to make sure that you have all pages to your bank statements. You want to make sure that if you have multiple accounts, then you have to pull all of your accounts of your bank statements so that way you can see all of your transactions. And then the next thing I'm going to have you do is that you're going to pull 5 highlighters. And in the 5 highlighters, there's going to be a reason behind this, because those highlighters are going to be able to break down exactly where your money is going. Now, this is what I like to call my bank statement challenge. The bank statement challenge literally breaks down your entire 2 months of bank statements to be able to figure out where your money is going. Now, we're going to go with the first highlighter, okay? So we're going to say it's yellow. Your yellow highlighter is going to go in and highlight all of your deposits. So deposits being your regular checks, deposits being any money that you actually deposited because let's say you had a side job that made you additional income, any money that was gifted to you that is a new additional income that is expected to be a receiving. If you happen to have child support, alimony, any of that money that's coming in, or trust money that's being deposited inside of your account, or IRA, 401k, all of those are deposits. Those are all monthly deposits that are showing monthly income for you that you're receiving, which is technically your income. So when we're looking at the income portion of it, we're not looking at the gross amount. We're looking at the net amount. So when you get your actual paycheck does reference your net amount. So this is after taxes have been taken out, after your 401k, your Social Security, all of the extra things that come inside of your paycheck. That stuff is already gone. So what we're looking at is the net amount. And so when I break this down to my clients, for example, you make $6,000 a month. And out of this $6,000 a month, you still have all of that stuff taken out, the taxes, the 401k, your Social Security. So roughly, I anticipate that you're taking out right about 35 to 40% of your income. And so from the $6,000, you minus 35%. And in that amount, you're going to come to $4,200. So when you come to the $4,200, that is the net income that actually arrives to your bank account. And so those $4,200 is technically where you're spending your money, right? So that's the money that you actually made for that week, for the month, depending on how you're paid. From there, those are all the deposits. That is going to come into that yellow highlighter. So you've gone down the line to be able to figure out where that money is. The next highlighting color that you're going to do is the orange highlighter, okay? So your orange highlighter, you're going to go into transfers. So transfers from, let's say, checking account into your savings account, or typically it's vice versa, savings account into your checking account, because you're trying to borrow from Paul to pay for Peter, or you're trying to borrow from Peter to cover something that you weren't supposed to spend in the first place, right? Because you're going to be doing some kind of overdraft in your bank account. So when you do the transfers, it's any and all transfers that are supposed to be in that color. So your color orange, right? So every single transfer that you went from the savings to the checking account, that needs to be highlighted. So why do we highlight that in a different color than deposits? The reason for that is because that's what I like to call fictitious money. Fictitious money is basically money that wasn't yours earned at that moment. So it was money that you technically could have made the month prior or 2 months before, or it was money that you had actually saved for something specific that you were going to use. Well, that money is not money that was made during that pay period or during that pay month. And so that's why I call it fictitious money, because you're borrowing from Paul to pay for Peter. And so that's that color. And then we're going to get to the ending part of what you're going to do with all of these colors of all these things that you just highlighted, but bear with me, we're going to keep going. All right, so the third highlighter that you're going to grab is, let's say, the blue highlighter. The blue highlighter is going to be what I like to call swipe, swipe. Every single time you swipe your card at Target, Walmart, any grocery store, gas, all of that wonderful stuff that we don't even know what the total was, that is what I like to call swipe, swipe. And you know what I'm talking about, and you can put it in the comments below because you know you've done this, because I've done it myself, where I went to Target and I went in for one thing, and it turned out I spent a whole bunch of money on something that I wasn't even needing, and I also forgot the exact thing I was supposed to buy. Those are what I like to call swipe, swipe. So every single time you swiped your debit card, that needs to be in a different color, and that's your blue color. So go down all of your bank statements. Remember, you're doing 2 months of bank statements that you're doing this on, and if you have separate bank accounts, guess what? You're going to be doing this separately. I would recommend actually the both of you doing this together, because there's a reason why you probably have separate bank accounts, but also wanting to be the comparison amongst the two. So you're actually talking to each other as you're doing it, because you're going to have your aha moment at this part of the bank statement challenge. You're going to start highlighting everything in blue and realizing, oh my gosh, how much money did I spend? Because this is exactly the thing that we truly don't get taught in school. We go to school for how many years? 8, 10, 12, 16, 20 years of school, and nobody ever helps us figure out our finances. So that is the reason why I'm doing this video today, because it's truly important so that way you can figure out where your money is going. So continuing on, once you highlight the blue, right, you highlight all of your swipes into all of your bank accounts, you're going to total that at the bottom. Same thing with the other ones, you're going to total those at the bottom. You're going to total up all your deposits that you've done, all of your transfers that you had, all of your swipes that you had that you did in your multiple accounts. And then on the fourth highlighter, you're going to now do the withdrawals. So the withdrawals are actually money that you took out of the account and you have no idea where it went. How many times do we go to the bank? We've already swiped a whole bunch of times, right? We've transferred here, transferred there. And now we need money out of the bank account because we got to pay for our kids' school activity. We got to pay for a field trip. We got to pay for a softball activity. And then we go and take money out. That is what the next color is going to be under. And that is going to be your pink color. So your pink color is going to be every single time you withdrew money, whether it was $1, whether it was $200, $600, $1,000. You need to now put that in the color pink, because now you're going to figure out every single time you withdrew money. The problem with the withdrawal pink color is that 9 times out of 10, we don't even know what we did with the money. We don't even know where it went or what we spent it on, or did we actually get any benefit out of the money that we actually took out of our bank account. So once you're gone down the line with your bank statements and you figured out your pink color, which is all of those withdrawals, you're going to go down to the very bottom and you're going to total that up. So that way you can see how much in withdrawals you actually have. Now the last color that you're going to be able to grab is going to be your purple color. So your purple highlighter is actually going to now look at your bank statement and you're going to find all of your actual bills, not the swipes, okay? So the actual bills, meaning like your gas bill, your electric bill, maybe you do have a mortgage, or maybe you have your rent, right? Or maybe you're paying for your family for, let's say, like food or something like that to be able to contribute to the household, but you're not actually paying rent. Stuff like that. So you want to be able to go down your bill with the purple highlighter to be able to figure out what is an actual bill. Remember, the withdrawals are not actual bills. And why do we say that? Because if you take out money, we don't actually know that's technically where you spent the money, right? We don't know that that's where you spent for the rent. Because 9 times out of 10, we typically do forget and we don't know exactly. If you happen to know that you took out $1,200 or you took out $3,000 and you went to go write a cashier's check for your rent, then yes, of course, you can remove that from the withdrawal section of the highlighter and then put that in your bill section. But for the most part, that's not typically the case. So within the purple highlighter, I need you to be able to go down the line and find all the bills that you actually have. And then again, you're going to go all the way down to the bottom and then you're going to total those up. Once you're done with all of the 5 highlighters that I'm asking for you, right? The yellow, the orange, the purple, the pink, and the blue one, you'll be able to put it all together and figure out where your money's going. So once you've done that, you've highlighted all the different sections, you should have totaled everything up as you went. If you have not already done that, then you will total it up at this point. Put all of the yellows together, all of the orange, the pink, the purple, and the blue, and then figure out all the bottom line. One thing that I really need you to focus on is that the yellow has all of your deposits. The yellow should, in fact, be all the money you're actually making. So in this case that we were talking about, this person made $6,000 a month. Net income was bringing to the household of $4,200. So if your yellow section shows $4,200, that's great. Maybe it shows $3,000. Okay, well, if you technically made $4,200 and only $3,000 was deposited, where did the other $1,200 go? So then that's going to be another homework that you have to figure out. Where did the other deposit money go? Did you put it into another bank account? So then you need to go track that money. Or did you actually put all of the $4,200 inside of this account so that way you can track it correctly? Now, once you've done this, you'll be able to, again, have everything down the line. You'll be able to compare the deposits to the transfers that we talked about. That was that fictitious fake money. And then you'll be able to compare it to your swipes. At this point, you have figured out that you're probably spending way too much money on a total of 3 things. Either 1, you're taking your money out of your bank account, right? You're taking your withdrawals and you have no idea where your money is going. Number 2, you are actually doing too many swipes. And odds are you are probably doing what I used to do over 15 years ago. And we went out to eat all the time. Okay. So when we did that, this is exactly how we figured out that this right now was not going to be the time when we purchased our home. But we could purchase our home. We just had to be able to make some changes. And that myself is the reason why I bring this to my clients and have them do this exact bank statement challenge. So when you're figuring out that in fact you spend way too much money either eating out, going to Costco, doing the withdrawals, you will find the money. You will find your down payment of where it's coming from. In this exact scenario, my client made $6,000, brought home $4,200. They were actually looking for a home in Riverside County, so the Hemet, Sun City area. They were looking for Paris area. So for them, they were definitely going to be able to purchase a home, but we had to be able to set a plan. And in setting that plan was being able to find the down payment money. And that we found through the bank statements. We figured out that while they had literally 2 bills, they had a couple credit cards that were totaling $135, and then they had the rent, which was $1,200. Imagine the difference of the income. We were talking about almost $3,000 of money that they were spending frivolously in multiple different locations. So I'm not talking about that you had to live penny to penny. In this situation, we were talking about we could literally save a minimum of $1,500 a month. And that was without his wife going back to work, which was actually already part of their intention. So when she was going to go back to work, they were going to magnify the down payment and the closing costs and literally triple down on it. So in this situation, you're talking about the difference of $3,000. If you got money left over, now you can save $1,500 to $2,000. Yes, I am fully aware you have other bills. Gas, electric, insurance, your car insurance. I am fully aware of that. But even when you take those things away from your actual remaining $4,200, you're still going to find that you have plenty of money to be able to save. And I'm not talking about penny pinching. I'm talking about just being more aware of your money. If this helped you in any way, definitely put it in the comments. I would love to be able to get your feedback as to this bank statement review as to how to figure out where your money is going and how to find your down payment and your closing cost money with the current income and the current job that you have right now. Too many times right now in this market and in prior markets, lenders are telling you, oh, you just need to save money. Oh, you just need more jobs. Oh, you just need to pay less. That's all they tell you. There's no plan behind it. With this bank statement review, you're going to be able to find the money. You're going to be able to go and find your down payment and your closing costs. So that way you are able to purchase your home right now and quickly instead of 2-3 years from now. And when you're ready to make that move and thinking about the possibilities of being able to own your own home, your first or your next home, reach out to us. We would love to be able to help you. Call, text, email, whatever is easiest for you. We are available days, nights, and weekends when you're ready to make that move. Now, I know this home journey, home financing has a whole bunch of details, and that's the reason why we release videos every single week to help educate you on everything from real estate to mortgage-related information to real-life experiences from my clients, so that way you can be able to learn, grow, and get to the point where you are also owning your first home. Now, what's coming up on the screen right now is a whole bunch of videos that will help you on this mortgage journey, being able to get you prepared for when you do buy your first home or your next home. So definitely make sure you check those out. And until next time, I look forward to helping you grow and get educated in this home journey for your next home. See you later.